Hello and welcome to some sprint car racing. There's a couple of other cars that we have with this game. I've been wanting to play this on YouTube for a long time. I've had it for a while, since last year I think, and this is pretty much what I watch every season. So I've got this car, which is actually a representation of like Dane Kingershot or Kerry Madsen. So shout out to them. Got a couple of other cars. I don't have everything unlocked because well, it's quite expensive. Yeah, I kind of tried to make Lightning McQueen, which is weird. The 360 sprint car, I can't remember what I did. Oh yeah, I made this trippy one. This is cool. So I kind of made this one for my sister because she likes the number 14, but it's kind of a representation of, can't think of his name, but I know, oh, what's his name? Can't think of a driver who drove something similar, but I kind of like the purples, the greys, and the yellows. So that's pretty cool. Pro late model. I used to race the pro late models a lot more than anything else in the game. Alright, so this one's definitely a shout out to Callum Harper. I made it around his car, which is cool. So that's a real life actual skin sort of thing, similar. This one I can't remember what I did. Oh yeah, okay, so I really need to redo this one. Street shocks are meh. They're meh. Probably seeing a little bit of these. Into the big blocks. Over here they're called V8 Dirt mods. Okay, so that one will be changed. Kinda like that. That looks nice. To the top. I have a feeling I should change that MSD and number definitely to let's make a Monster Games. Contingencies. Yep, makes it look a little bit more fuller. And the number to my number. Done. Change the red to. That looks terrible. Does that look better? I'm not sure if that looks better. We'll run with it. Well, the purpose of creating this video is I want this video to do like an Australian update. I want them to try and actually work within all their power to actually try and get some Australian tracks in this game, which would be cool. So I don't have them yet, because it's quite expensive, because you need to get the 2023 update, but I think 2024 update's coming out soon, which is probably going to be even more expensive. So this one's Australian apparently, so it's probably 21 Australia 21. Don't really know who else would be Australian. I don't think there is many Australians in here, but I reckon we need to like try and get some Australians. That there is kind of like the skin of my cousin's sprint car he races. He's the VA88 sprint car. He races in Australia. But it's very similar. Says that, oops, not what I was supposed to do. I'll show you what these are like. These are actually really fun. Good old I-55. Used to play this, the original game back on PS2, which was the 2002 World of Outlaws sprint cars, which was incredible. Yeah, listen to him. Might have to turn the car down, because I can't even hear myself talking. But yeah, look at that. This is fun. So this track kind of reminds me of my home track. I'm not going to disclose where I live, but I will tell you I am Australian, if you can't tell. Yeah, for this you just need to get the goal achieved, which I did. Kind of didn't expect it to be so loud, so I don't know, so I'm probably not going to finish this. That was just a little tester of what this game is. They're pretty fast. I think they're faster than the pro late models, but way slower than the sprint cars. So we might have to go back and change that just so it's not as loud, because that was even loud for me. Audio, play a car, drop it. Just drop everything down to 35, see how that goes. Need to be able to hear myself, just so I'm not like yelling into the mic, deafening everybody. Oh, effects. I forgot the effects. Oh well. Let's get back in here, change the effects. That sounds like it could be good. We will do eventually I'll get to career mode, but for now I'm just showing off this game. I love it so much. Yeah, so we're at the 4-turn sprint cars. Just let me know which class you want me to drive. We've got 4-turn sprint cars, late models, which is like the pretty much the outlaw ones. Dirt car racing 360s, which are easy to drive. Pro late models, 305 sprint cars. Straight stocks, which are terrible. UMP, which aren't too bad, but they're just, yeah, they're basically an upgraded version of straight stock, blue block, or the big block modified. nobody's really watching, but oh well. There we go. So, shaft the 410, which is my version of Dan King. Actually, because I got the V20, the V2, I don't know why I made a V2 because it's not even V2. I'm pretty sure the Carrier Madsen one is New South Wales 2, and Dan King Shot is W2, which is Western Australian 2. Got a couple of trucks that were DLC, which was the I-55 and the Limaland. Limaland, you'll see, is a little bit more troublesome. Which could make for good driving. So where's that? Ah, it's in Ohio. Okay. So this is probably about as close as I could get to like making like anything Australian, is just make them as close as possible. Much better, I can hear myself talk now, so I'm not going to be as loud, but if I'm like if I'm still softer than the car, I'll rewatch the live stream and fix that for the next time. So it's Gullah Tube, you see pause and practice, which is circle. Then you go straight into qualify. Just one rolling lap, two laps after that. Those little white tyres on the inside, see there, like, it's very easy to like get crossed up in them and cause a bit of issue in the game. But they tried to keep it as true to, like, as true as they could to the actual tracks, and it makes for interesting gameplay. So it was qualifying, now coming into the heats, the dash, and then the mains. There is a sprint car, you'll see James McFadden, he's an Australian as well. There's only like 2 Australians in this game, I think, I'm not quite sure. Tried to do my research, but nothing came up. I know Peter Britton in the big block, and then James McFadden in this. Back in 2002, What About the Sprint Car Series was Brook Tutnell. But it would be good to actually get like some... Oh, it'd be good to actually get a modded section as well, like getting people to create like real life skins and stuff would be awesome. I believe on the PC, modders can actually get proper cars and stuff, like Australian skins. Like, it'd be awesome to have, like, you know, like some of the famous Australian drivers like Jamie Veal, all the champions in the recent 2010s, like 2010s and 2020 and the 20s. But it'd be also cool to get, like, you know, like Carrier Madsen 2005 and stuff like that. It'd be good to actually get Premier Speedway as a track on this game, and do sort of like a classic mode where it's like, we have this race called the Sprint Car Classic. If you don't know what that is, it runs over 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And yeah, it'd be cool to get like events like that for just for those specific tracks. Like you could get like other big Australian ones, like do like Easter Trail mode, where they could put Avalon Speedway in. You start there. They could put Borderline Speedway in, then you go there next, and then back to Warrnambool for like night 3. Oh, it'd be so cool if they could do that. And they could even add like a Queensland track, King Roy, do the King's Royal, add some like more Australian cars like modified productions and production sedans and stuff like that, and they could do like King's Royal mode. Do like Australian title modes. Do like title modes, which will be like really cool. And they could even like put that in like multiplayer mode, where it's like, okay, instead of like people putting like the number 1 in, it's like they take number 1 out, so they can't put number 1 on, so they have to choose like their proper number first, and then it's like if you win like the session or something like that, you can become number 1. Number 1 automatically gets put on your car, which would be cool. I don't know why people didn't like really think about that. But now that I'm putting it out there, I'm hoping that that something can be done about it, and I hope iRacing and most of the games can actually do something like this, you know? Just because right now, like, we're just with like American stuff, it gets pretty stale pretty quick, because it's like American. Not only America has tracks, and not only America can like does racing. Like my dad used to be a racer back in like the 80s in a class that's very different now. I was gonna race at one point, but Dad sold our cars. Like we had 2 cars ready to, well, 1 car ready to go, 1 car ready to be like fitted with everything, and he just sold them. Get out of the way. And then, yeah, like, would it be really cool? Yeah, it's just get like, even like an Australian mode where it's like part of the career mode, you know? It's like you can drive like all the Australian cars, and like this is called the World of Outlaws. It's like they could even do like a World Series mode for like Australia. Because Horden Chilled here, he races over here sometimes. Like he was here last year. Brad Sweet was over here. David Gravel, I'm pretty sure, has been here before. Donny Shots has been over here. I believe he was here last year as well. Brock Zerfoss, he's been over here. You know, Casey Kane, not so much. He might have been, but we've also had like Tim Kading. So there's like a few Americans like that you can add in. Like you can still add in like all these Americans and stuff, and Canadians and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure, so say there we go, my Australian brethren. Like, it'd be cool. I'm sure it's like probably really hard to do, and like a lot of race cars drivers won't. Well, not even like cars, probably like other things. Oh, get out of the way. I'm sure it's hard to like, you know, ask permission to use their tracks and whatnot. But I'm just saying, if it happens, I reckon I wouldn't stop playing this game for like, if forever. Like, if there was an Australian mode, like, it'd be so good. even if there was like an Australian update, maybe for 2025. Or do what they've done here and just add in like World Series. Like, we have so many like sprint car classes ourselves. Like we've got the 410s, which are these, so we have these, we have the pro sprint cars, we have like light sprint cars, all sorts of other sprint cars. And if they want like other things like the big block and the UMP, like they could add in mud lights, they could add in AMCAs. Since there's the late models, they can add in super sedans. They can add in Australian street stocks. Like, there's so much like that they could do. Oh, sorry, James. Yeah, like there's so many things that they can actually do to improve this game to allow for a more of a base. Because, whoop, being Australian, like I've never seen like the American racetracks, and I know it's a lot different, but they don't really have to change much, or if anything. Like, if they really wanted to, like, they could even, like, go and ask New Zealand. Like, New Zealand has a lot of tracks as well that I've never seen before, but still, there's more of a fan base. Because these games need more love, because the tracks in real life, they're all shutting down due to lack of, like, crowds and lack of drivers. So I reckon this could be a base for getting in newcomers into the actual sport as well. Considering in Australia they call Premier Speedway similar to Knoxville, but I don't see it. When you're at Premier Speedway in Australia, like, I don't see Knoxville in it. Like, we have a sign that points us in the direction of Knoxville, which is actually quite cool. So it'd be cool to actually just compare the actual tracks. You know, like, we've got Knoxville now, it's like, add in Premier Speedway, and then you can see if it actually is very, like, set up similar, or if it's actually, yeah, you know. I'd love to see games with Australian tracks. Like, you could even add in, like, Archerfield. You can even get some tracks that used to be official but are shut down, you know, just do some research and design those tracks in a game so that their legacies and are never forgotten, you know. Like, back when I was like really little, there was a good speedway called Bendigo Speedway, which is like, the track is still there, but it's a showground now. But you can still see the remnants of the old track. You know, people could watch like videos, and there's YouTube videos of that old track. It might be hard to actually see. If I was good at game design, I would actually, you know, send out like what it kind of looked like. But I can't even remember sort of like what it looked like. But I'm sure someone out there at that place, even in Bendigo, I'm pretty sure there's someone you can talk to who remembers the whole track for what it was back in its glory. I was there for its like closing days, and it was sad to see it go. It'd be good to make a game like this, so you can redo it. And even then, like before, like when I was talking about super sedans, it was a super sedan track. Late models only came recently, like 2010, or even like earlier than that. Like, only a few years ago we only started getting late models. But yeah, super sedans need some love as well. Like, they're actually really fun. They're pretty much just a V6 version of a late model. and there's tracks out there, like they can add in like Heartland Raceway to Speedway and stuff like that. Like they can add in Ballarat Speedway's Red Line Raceway. Like even that one's got a awesome, amazing history. I can add in the Southern 500, Portland, Premier Speedway Waterbull, Avalon Raceway, Geelong, Alexander Speedway Melbourne, Valvoline Raceway, Sydney, Kingaroy Speedway, Queensland, Perth Motorplex, WA, Borderline Speedway and Marybridge Speedway, South Australia. Don't know anything about Tasmanian tracks, but I'm sure there's one there somewhere. Northern Territory, I'm pretty sure there's a Darwin track I've never heard of, never been. Well, I have heard of it. I'm Victoria, Australia based, so I know a lot more about those tracks, you know. It'd be cool to actually, like, for people who actually want to see those tracks, play them in the game first, get them hooked to go. Give all these tracks, like, if they start here, on a game like this, you know, like, they could even, like, make, like, a completely different game, like, just for the Australians, and, like, send it overseas, and if Americans don't like it, it's like, well, then there's going to be a bit of a tiff, you know? And it's like, well, why should we play this game, you know, World of Outlaws, when we've got the World Series? You know? But I doubt that would happen, because it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, you know? It brings more people from overseas over to come watch. I mean, sometimes I think that would be pretty pointless in getting, like, people from overseas over, because, like, an event only lasts for, like, sometimes a night. Easter Trail goes over 3 nights. The Sprint Car Classic for the World Series, that goes for, like, 1 night. It goes for 3 nights. Yeah, Classic's 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, there's so many things, like, even when Americans come over, they're like, oh yeah, like, Premier Track is very similar to Knoxville. But, yeah, when I'm playing this game, I don't see it. Like, Knoxville just seems very big compared to it. But I could be wrong, I can't actually discern or tell how big this track actually is, but yeah, like the straights and the corners does seem similar, but it seems like this one seems quite bigger, if you know what I mean. Like, if they actually put the track in the game, it's like, oh okay, maybe it is actually, you know, similar, but I can't tell, because going by the games and going by visuals, Premier to me seems more like Texas. Just in colour, like over here, like over like the last season, or this season just gone, like Premier was trying to be more like Knoxville and actually had this darker colour clay, and it worked against them. Like, it wasn't good, which is like, you know, get the browner coloured clay and it looks and feels more like Texas, and feels like more like the size of Texas, you know. You can even go down the road from Warrnambool and add in, like, as DLC, you could add in, like, the track that's just down the road, which is Lang Speedway, just down the road. You know, like, there's so many tracks in Australia that they could add to a game like this, where it could be its own game. You know, like they can even make a World Series sprint, like iRacing World Series sprint cars. Would be a huge hit in Australia. Especially among, like, people who have been waiting, you know, for at least... Like, we've been waiting even since before, like, the very first Speedway game introduced. It's like, well, where's all the Australian tracks, you know? Like, there was a game you could, like, mod it into... mod like, Australian tracks into. And it was really cool, it was really fun. It was like, yeah, like, you could even add in, like, a mod section here, where, you know, you could... Like, somebody or like devs that can kind of do like what the Elder Scrolls did and what Bethesda did and added in like a creation club and get people and devs and whatnot to actually make Australian tracks, you know. Like, I'm not sure if there's like an iRacing Australia around, but you know what I mean. Yay, I almost left everyone. Yeah. You know, like, this game just gets stale, you know. We've seen these, like, a lot of these tracks before in the 2002 game. Get some Australian tracks in. Get some New Zealand tracks in. Get other tracks in. There's more tracks out there than just American tracks. It's all we really want. I said, like, a lot of us said, like, when this game first came out, like, we were devastated that there wasn't, like, any, like, Australian or New Zealand tracks around, you know? Like, it's all American. Do what the rally did, you know? Like, the rally goes to, like, you know, like, I get it's World of Outlaws, not World Series or whatever it is in New Zealand and stuff like that, but there's, like, cool things that, you know, DLC packs, you know, make a new game, brand new game next year, or however long it takes to make these types of games. Just, you know, give some love to the Australians, and you just probably will make a killing of money. But still, I don't see how this track is very similar to Winnable. Like, Winnable has better bank, like, well, not better banking, but it has more of a bank in these corners here. It's definitely set up similar. But, like, even in the crowd area, it looks completely different. Like, I would go to probably on there and say, oh yeah, it feels like Knoxville, and then go over to Knoxville and go, no it doesn't. If anything, it'd probably feel like more like I-55. Yeah, I-55 is more like my home track, which is like I like racing it. Like, I'm surprised I haven't put Husets, you know, and get rid of that crap, you know. We're Australian, like, we get it, you're patriotic. But even the Americans skip it. You know, I don't know why they added that in, you know. Add, like, Australian tracks. Then, like, we wouldn't complain because you're actually representing a lot more countries, you know. Like, you gotta represent your country. It's like, if there's no Australian tracks and... or other country tracks, it's not gonna sell. It's not gonna do well. And the reason I do it is because, you know, it makes, like, I like going and watching it, like, here in Australia, and then come back and it's like, oh, okay. It's just a fun game. Like, I wanted it just to see if there was, like, any Australian tracks, and then I was thoroughly disappointed when we didn't get any. You know, because the Outlaws come over here and race our tracks as well. It's like, I'm surprised they don't say, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Because even they even like some of these guys who are over here, they even say, yeah, like some of them join into our World Series as well. It's like, I don't understand why they wouldn't. Here's a World Series, and World of Outlaw. He's World Series. He did the World Series last year, and is a World of Outlaw. I don't know why they don't say. Well, they come over here and they say, yeah, these tracks are actually pretty cool. Like, this one reminds me of Knoxville, or this one reminds me of Eldora. You know. Donny Shots has been over here forever. Whoop. Actually, Donny Shots is like one of the, he was like one of my first sprint car drivers I ever saw. Him and Joey Saldana. They used to come over here and dominate the Australian series. So I don't see why they can't do it unless like I said earlier, like way earlier, it's like, yeah, maybe it is hard to actually, you know, get permission to actually add them into the game. Cause, yeah, we can be stubborn. I know it's not like the game creators fault at all, you know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like it's a terrible game or it's I'm just saying it gets stale when there's nothing that like about your country in here except for 2 race car drivers. Wow, you know, 2 race car drivers. I got James McFadden and we got Peter Britton. No, like, I played this throughout all of 2023 and all of, like, last time I played this game was probably, like, February. I'm only playing it now because I wanted to at least put one video up on it and express, like, the improvements of this game and what DLC they can add in the future. By no means am I any good at this, you know, like, people can actually go into things where they have no settings and, like, absolutely dominate, and that's like, oh, okay. Like, I reckon the multiplayer mode in this needs to be upgraded a bit, because, I can't play it at all. Like, that's why I'm not playing it now. The best part is basically doing what I'm doing. This is cool, like, really cool, and the career mode in this is really good. You know, the only thing that really needs a revamp is probably the multiplayer mode. I've played it a couple of times, I didn't like it. You know, like, nobody wants to actually, you know, join into a game where you've actually, like, I'm getting assist, which is this, you know, like, everybody wants, like custom presets. Like, these are all available, which make the game a lot more enjoyable for some people, like me, and other things like that. But when we get, like, stuck into that, it's like, we don't know, you know, like, that, like, sometimes they don't even do custom, like, they'll do expert, so you don't have any support, like, and there's me who doesn't know anything about, you know, setups or anything, you know, like, even though my cousin's a race car driver, my dad was a race car driver, and I grew up around Speedway all my life, I know nothing about the setups of the car, you know, I don't know what sort of stagger I need on this track. Oh god, slippery. Oh jeez. Oh cool. What happened there? That's what happened there. You know, I could even do normal. But you see what I mean? Like, I go to expert and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I can't drive it at all. I reckon this game needs to take out the American national anthem because it's like, yeah, there might be American tracks, but there's more than just Americans playing this game. I'll show you sprint cars. I'll go my next favourite kind of car, which is the first thing that I was racing before. We'll go back to... no! I want to change. Never mind. Makes it easier. Sorry about the rant, like, I'm sure, like, you don't want to hear about my problems about a video game. I know, I get it, it's just a video game, you know, but how can they improve a video game? They could improve by, you know, I guess this is cool and all. They could drop the pricing down. Like, nobody's playing this bloody game. Cause one, it's way too expensive. Two, I got nothing of theirs. Like Lincoln Speedway, I didn't even see that. Where's that come from? Texas. I'll race Texas. Did I actually put... yeah. Texas is probably the closest to, like, Warrnambool Speedway, in my opinion. I think it's Texas. But yeah, we have these cars over here. They're not called a big block. They're called a V8, a V8 dirt modified. Whoop. We don't have UMPs over here. The closest thing to a UMP we have over here is called an AMCA, AMCA. You see how you spell that? It's pronounced AMCA. And street stocks in this game, they all look the same, but over here in Australia they're completely different. They're like a lot faster than what's in this game. They're basic, yeah, and you can like add in like modify productions as well as another sort of as another class, which is really good, you know, because Modify Productions are pretty fun to watch. They, for some reason, like a lot of people are into them, and it's actually growing more so than the street stocks these days. Street stocks used to be huge, like back in 2017, 2016, 2017. Street stock Australian title over here, we got like over 161 cars, which is insane. But now, since there's like nothing really, you know, like there's not many people going, there's not many people willing to race the thingies anymore. It's just not as good as what it was back in 2016, 2017. Like, it was improving. Like, all the crowds, like, it took them years to get to where they were, and then they sort of just fell backwards, and just... yeah. Like, if I was to race anything, I'd probably race one of these. One of these seems really cool. But yeah, just sort of like the banking of this, the colour of this track, it just seems very... It seems more Premier Speedway than what Knoxville is. I'm sorry, but this looks more like Premier Speedway in Australia than what Knoxville does. You know, the fencing similar, seating similar. Except over here to be more of a pile. If anything, like over here, like they just need... Like they could even reskin like some of these tracks just to be like other tracks, you know? Like this would make a perfect Premier Speedway. Like just this track. You just have to chuck the grandstand over the other side and put it in a big, like a mountain. Not even like a big mountain. Put in some commentary boxes and there's Premier Speedway. Yeah, like literally, like... Yeah, it's literally Premier Speedway. Just, you know, get rid of that barrier on the inside and... Get rid of those inside lights because they have the outside lights. You know, and then switch the grandstand over to about here. And then put like a screen here. And put like a mountain here. And make it go to about here and put a gate there. As to where the cars come out. And it's literally the same thing. You know, get rid of those things there. Put a wall there and then inside over here. Put like a little flat, more of a flat land here. And that's basically Premier Speedway Australia. Like, just leave that commentary box that's up there. Because that's very similar to Premier as well at the minute. It's just a grandstand, you know, like, leave one of those grandstands there. Probably the first one. And then leave those boxes there and move those people over to here. A little bit of land in the first grandstand. Yep. Yeah, I see Premier like the potential of this track basically to be reskinned into Premier Speedway. Like that's why we need mods, like mods and moderators for this game. Like you could literally reskin the tracks that you have into Australian tracks. You just gotta do research, you know, like it even looks very similar to what my home track is, you know, you just shrink it down a little. You shrink the little bit and you basically got my home track. We don't have a grandstand though, that's the only thing. Like we're a pretty backwash track. Like we got these things, you know, like you get like reskin these guys into the Australian class and you know, like you don't have to add like too much, like it can't be that hard, like they've already got the models of these cars, like all they have to do is just reskin and there's your Australian, you know, even with this track. Reskin it. Just make the clay more yellow. More yellowy orange, you know. This season, Premier Speedway had like the black clay that was similar to Knoxville. But it was very tacky and very rubbery. It was not good clay. Even cool events like I was talking about before, like we got like the Australian Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic, you know, Americans racing that, you know, you can even do that. You could even like, oh that's cool. I just got quickie time. Oh, that's great. What was I saying? I was saying something, left me mind. It's like, get rid of those tires too. But yeah, even like the inside now, like the inside of Premier Speedway now, like really looks like this, like inside now. Like this track here has the potential to be Australia's Warrnambool Speedway, Sun Gold Milk Stadium, Premier Speedway. The flag's even in the same spot, you know? There's a starting line, it's like literally the same spot. Sorry for skip that. I'm not American. I don't even like my own national anthem. Yeah, national anthem, good on ya. Represent, but it's cringe. Makes me feel a certain way. You know, like nothing against them. Nothing against them. I just don't feel like it's appropriate when you're not from that country. And if people say, "What do you mean?" It's like, well, I'm not American, am I? You know, like, even like you could even do, like, over here in Australia, we're kind. We do both. We do Australian national anthem, and we do the American national anthem. Like, we are kind, but in these games, like, the Americans are just like, oh, there's Australians here. In here. They do not represent us at all. They do not. You know, like every time we go to a thing, like they'll play the American national anthem, Australian national anthem over us. I don't know why. It's very weird. But in this game, you know, it's just the American, and it's like, I'm not American. Good on yous. Good for you. I don't care. I do care, you know, I don't want to be seen as a terrible person, but, you know, terrible game design, putting the, like, a part of the American national anthem, it's like, yeah, play a part of the Australian national anthem after it, you know, do something. You market it out in Australia as well, you know, like, we can get this game here, like, we even, like, we even respect the Americans more than New Zealand at this point. Like, there's not many, like, that's part of the reason why New Zealand doesn't race over here. You know, they can. Anyone can race over here in Australia. It's just that they don't do the New Zealand national anthem. That's why they don't race over here, you know. You know, I can see their point, you know. It feels dingy and it feels like, well... But I get it, probably over there, they, like, in real life, they probably do, you know. Like, I'm not back-mouthing anyone, you know. Like, they probably go, oh yeah, we've got Australians over here, like, but this game just makes it sound, like, seem really, whoops, really not good, if you know what I mean. Like, they only do the American national anthem. Like, in these cars, the Pepsi car, that's an Australian car, that's an Australian. James McFadden in the sprint cars. He's Australian. I'm probably thinking too much into it, you know, and he's probably going to think way too hard and think of how bad. I don't care. I don't care. It's just my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, then get off my channel. Get off the video. It's all a learning curve. Never said I was smart. Never said I knew everything. Never said I knew something. I'm just here to enjoy a very well-made game. Car creations is a bit of a lack, is lacking a bit, you know, like you could even like add in like a free range sort of spray painting sort of thing to the game, like that was in games forever ago, you know, like these numbers look absolutely terrible because we don't have free range of, you know, number design. You know, like look at all these cool creative ones, like add some of these in, like they've got the game here. Peter Britton there, like look at his 21, like that's pretty cool. That 91 there, that's pretty cool. Number 4, that's pretty sleek. You can't get them in the creation, which is why this car looks probably quite terrible. You know, like even if I make that number bigger, it's still, it's meh. You know, it just needs a bit of an upgrade. You know, like you could even reskin his skin on to like to make my cousin's skin. I'm not telling you who it is, but but I do have a relative in sprint cars, and I've actually got 2 relatives in sprint cars actually. I've waffled and made myself sad. Because I thought about all the things that I've said and I don't even like it. I'm a terrible YouTuber. Just waffled on, made myself feel sad and stuff, you know, pretty much about the flags. I'm sorry. "32 laps, holy heck." Whee. I hope you enjoyed this video. I shall see you in the next one, hopefully, maybe. I'm thinking about doing, I'll be moving house again soon, so I might actually, do some career mode and show it off. And hopefully by the time, you know, at some point in the near future, we can get an Australian update. So, like, there's not many tracks in this game. There's too many like made ones. Like they're not even Not even real tracks apparently, you know, take them out and put in like actual Australian tracks. There's more tracks, you know. There's probably even like more American tracks that you could even add in. America's huge, you could probably even add in some Canadian tracks. But yeah, that's me done. Okay for watching, bye.